can change everything. Emma was driving home after work when she noticed flashing lights in her mirror. The reason sounded minor, a cracked taillight. The officer asked a few casual questions. Where she was coming from. If she had anything illegal in the vehicle. Emma answered politely. Then came the moment that changed everything. Can you step out of the car for a second? She didn't hesitate. She opened the door and stepped out. That's when the stop stopped being about a taillight. What followed was nearly 2 hours on the roadside, a search, and a situation that never needed to happen. Not because Emma did something wrong, but because she didn't understand what changes the instant you step out of your car. As a criminal defense lawyer who reviews traffic stop footage every week, I see this exact turning point over and over again. One movement. One assumption. One decision people don't realize carries legal consequences. Today, I'm breaking down why stepping out of your car can be a trap, what you should understand before you move, and the legal habits that keep a simple stop from becoming something much bigger. 1. What actually changes before you open the door? Before we talk about words, questions, or tone, you need to understand something fundamental. Your vehicle is not just transportation. Under the law, it carries more protection than standing on the roadside. Inside your car, your movements are limited and contained. The officer's view is restricted. You remain in a semi-private space. The scope of the stop is easier to define the moment your foot touches the pavement. All of that shifts. You are no longer in a contained environment. You are now fully in public space. Public space gives officers more control over where you stand, how long you remain there, what movements they observe, how they justify additional actions. This shift happens instantly. And most drivers never notice it until it's too late. From reviewing footage, I can tell you this: the stop often escalates not because of what someone says, but because of where they are standing. Understanding that power shift before you move keeps you from giving up protection without realizing it. 2. The difference between a request and an order. One of the most misunderstood moments in a traffic stop is how officers ask you to step out. Listen closely to these two phrases: can you step out of the vehicle for a moment, versus step out of the vehicle. Legally, these are not the same. One is a request. The other is a command. A request means you still have a choice. An order means legal authority is being exercised. Here's where people get trapped. Officers often blend polite language with authoritative tone, making a request feel mandatory even when it isn't. Many drivers step out believing they had no option, when in reality, no lawful order was given. Once you step out voluntarily, everything that follows becomes harder to challenge. That's why one sentence matters more than almost anything else in this moment. Officer, are you asking me, or are you ordering me to step out? This question is not rude. It's not aggressive. It simply forces clarity. Clarity protects you. 3. Why asking that question changes the entire stop. When you ask for clarification, 3 important things happen. First, the officer must reveal whether legal authority is actually being used. Second, the interaction becomes clear on your recording. There is no ambiguity about whether you exited voluntarily. Third, you avoid unknowingly giving consent to a situation that limits your options later. Drivers who don't ask this question often regret it afterward, because once you step out voluntarily, courts may treat everything that follows as fair game. Smart drivers don't guess. They clarify. And that single question often determines whether the stop stays narrow or expands. 4. If it's an order, ask for the lawful reason. If the officer confirms it's an order, the next step matters just as much. Legal authority always requires a legal reason. An officer cannot lawfully order you out simply out of curiosity or discomfort. There must be a legitimate justification, usually tied to safety or the scope of the stop. Your response should be calm and controlled. For the record, what is the lawful reason for ordering me out of the vehicle? This does not escalate the situation. It creates accountability. If the reason is legitimate, the officer will state it clearly. If it's vague, inconsistent, or improvised, that matters later. From experience, officers rely on people not asking this question. Silence allows assumptions. Questions create records. You're not refusing. You're documenting. And documentation is protection. 5. The 3 seconds that matter most. Most drivers rush this next moment. They hear the order, swing the door open, and step out without saying anything. Those 3 seconds matter more than most people realize. Before your hand touches the door handle, say this clearly: I am complying under protest, and my hands will remain visible. This does several things at once. It confirms you are obeying, not resisting. It shows you did not step out voluntarily. It sets expectations about your movements. It protects you if the order is later questioned. Many problems during traffic stops begin with claims about sudden movements or unclear intentions. Speaking your actions out loud removes that ambiguity. Once you're outside, control shifts. So protect yourself before that shift happens. 6. How your rights change once you're outside. Standing outside your vehicle changes everything. Officers can now position you wherever they want, separate you from passengers, observe your full body language, interpret movements more freely. Inside the car, your environment is contained. Outside, it's exposed. Even harmless actions, adjusting clothing, turning your body, looking around, can be misinterpreted or used to justify further investigation. This is why many stops escalate immediately after a driver exits. Not because of guilt, but because the officer now sees more and controls more. Understanding this shift keeps you alert and disciplined. 7. Why you should stop explaining yourself once outside. Many drivers feel pressure to talk. They explain why they were speeding, why they were distracted, why they're tired or late. Those explanations feel polite, but they often become admissions. Officers document what you say. Casual explanations can later appear as confirmation of violations. Silence is not hostility. Silence is strategy. You are not required to narrate your behavior. The officer observes. You comply. When drivers blur that line, they create unnecessary risk. Minimal, factual responses protect flexibility later. 8. When questions turn investigative, stop talking. Another subtle shift happens when questions become conversational. Where are you coming from? What were you doing tonight? These questions are not about traffic enforcement. They build narratives and timelines. The safest response is calm and neutral. I prefer to keep my answers limited. This keeps the stop focused and professional. It does not accuse or challenge, it simply declines participation in storytelling. In my experience, investigations grow when conversation flows freely. Silence interrupts that process. 9. Ask the question that ends many stops. When time stretches and purpose becomes unclear, one question resets everything. Officer, am I being detained, or am I free to go? This forces a decision. Detention requires justification. Freedom ends the encounter. Tone matters. Ask calmly. Ask once. Ambiguity favors extension. Clarity favors resolution. OUTRO. Every traffic stop feels routine, until one moment changes everything. Stepping out of your car is often that moment. The goal is not confrontation. It's control, clarity, and restraint. Know the difference between a request and an order. Ask for lawful reasons. Announce compliance properly. Understand how your rights shift outside the vehicle. The roadside rewards calm decisions. Real outcomes are decided later, quietly, with records. If this breakdown changed how you think during a traffic stop, stay with this channel. We focus on the moments people miss and the decisions that carry real weight. The next video may matter sooner than you expect.